Course title: Air Law and International Agreements, updated for 2026. Welcome to the Air Law and International Agreements course, completely updated for the year 2026. If you want to understand aviation rules, I am here to help you today. These questions come with full explanations, which will help you get your certification on the first try. Please leave suggestions in the comment section below, so we can improve the course together. Section 1. We are starting Section 1 right now, and we will talk about the Chicago Convention. The Chicago Convention is a big agreement, which started the rules for flying planes safely. Way back in the year 1944, many countries came together to make these flying rules. They wanted to make sure that flying, across different countries, was safe for everyone today. This big meeting created a special group, which we simply call the ICAO right now. ICAO stands for the International Civil Aviation Organization, and they manage the sky rules worldwide. The main job of the ICAO team is to keep all international flights totally safe. You need to know that ICAO itself does not make laws for every single country. Instead of making strict laws, they make standards and practices that countries should always follow. We call these useful standards SARPs, which means standards and recommended practices for all pilots. If a country wants to fly internationally, they agree to follow these basic safety rules. Sometimes a country cannot follow a rule, so they must tell the ICAO about it. When a country tells ICAO about a difference, we call this action filing a difference. Filing a difference keeps everyone fully informed, so pilots know what to expect when flying. Let us look at the structure of ICAO, so you completely understand how it works. ICAO has a large assembly, which includes every single country that joined the big agreement. The full assembly meets every 3 years, to talk about the budget and new rules. There is also a smaller council, which acts like the main team that runs everything. The council has 36 member countries, and they make the really big daily aviation decisions. We also have the Air Navigation Commission, which is a group of smart technical experts. These smart experts look at the technical stuff, and they suggest new rules for safety. You might wonder where ICAO is located, and the answer is Montreal in beautiful Canada. Now let us talk about the freedoms of the air, which are very important today. The first freedom allows a commercial airplane to fly over another country without stopping there. The second freedom lets a plane land safely, just to get gas or fix something. The third freedom lets you carry paying passengers from your own country to another country. The fourth freedom is bringing passengers back from another country to your own home country. The fifth freedom lets you pick up people and take them to a new third country. These freedoms help all airlines make money, and they connect friendly people all over the world. We must always remember that safety is the biggest goal for all of these rules. Another really important part of air law is knowing who owns the space above us. Every single country owns the air above it, which we call their own sovereign airspace. No foreign plane can fly in that space, unless the host country says it is okay. Over the vast open ocean, the air does not belong to any single country at all. Instead, the ICAO gives different friendly countries the job of watching over parts of the ocean. This ensures that someone is always listening if a lost plane needs help over the water. You will see these rules a whole lot when you take your final aviation exams soon. It is my main job to explain them simply, so you can pass without any stress. Annexes are basically large folders of rules, and ICAO currently has 19 of these exact folders. Annex 1 is all about licensing pilots, so you know exactly how to get your wings. Annex 2 tells us the rules of the air, which is like traffic laws for planes. We will look closer at these annexes later, but for now, just know they actually exist. Right now, I want you to completely focus on the questions that we have prepared below. Practice makes perfect, and these good questions will test everything we just talked about today. Read each specific question carefully, and make sure you understand the simple explanation I provide. let us get completely ready to test your knowledge so you can become a great pilot. In the year 2026, air law added new rules about flying fast drones in the sky. Drones are very popular right now, so we need strong laws to keep big airplanes safe. The ICAO wants to make absolutely sure that small drones never crash into large passenger planes. Environmental rules are also a really big deal, because we want to protect our green planet. Large airplanes use a lot of fuel, and the new agreements try to reduce that pollution. CORSIA is a very special program, designed to lower the carbon footprints of airlines everywhere. You must fully learn about the CORSIA program, because it is a big part of aviation law. Remember that international laws are always changing quickly. To keep up with brand new aviation technology, I am always here to guide you through this, so you never feel lost or confused. We will tackle the hardest concepts together right now, and make them simple enough for everyone. Point 1. What is the Chicago Convention, and why is it so important for all pilots? It is a big treaty that created the basic rules for safe international flights. The treaty started ICAO in 1944, which helps countries work together to manage the skies. Point 2. Where is the main headquarters of ICAO located, for people who want to visit? The main headquarters of ICAO is located in the beautiful city of Montreal in Canada. Canada was chosen as a safe and neutral place for countries to meet and talk. Point 3. What does the word SARPs stand for when we talk about international aviation rules? SARPs means standards and recommended practices, which all member countries try to follow closely. These are the guidelines ICAO makes to ensure every flight is safe and perfectly organized. Point 4. What must a country do if it cannot follow a specific rule made by ICAO? The country must file a difference to tell ICAO they cannot follow that exact rule. Filing a difference keeps other pilots informed, so they know what rules apply right there. Point 5. Who owns the airspace that is directly above a specific country, like the United States? The country itself owns the airspace, and this is called having complete and total sovereignty. This means no foreign plane can enter, unless the owner country gives them clear permission. Point 6. How many member countries make up the Council of ICAO to make daily decisions? There are 36 member countries on the Council, elected to run things every single day. This team handles the routine choices, so the big assembly does not meet every day. Point 7. How often does the full ICAO assembly meet to discuss big plans and budgets? The entire assembly comes together to meet exactly once every 3 years for big discussions. They gather to review the budget and vote on large changes to the aviation rules. Point 8. What is the main purpose of the Air Navigation Commission inside the ICAO structure? Their main job is to look at technical things and suggest new safety rules for planes. They are the smart technical experts who make sure the flying rules actually work well. Point 9. What does the first freedom of the air allow a commercial airplane to actually do? It lets an airplane fly over another country without having to land on the ground. This freedom makes long trips much faster because planes can fly in a straight line. Point 10. Why would an airplane use the second freedom of the air during a long trip? A plane uses the second freedom to land for fuel or to fix broken parts. It is only for technical stops, so they cannot pick up new passengers during this stop. Point 11. What is an ICAO annex, and how does it help pilots fly planes more safely? An annex is like a big folder that holds specific rules for different aviation topics. There are 19 of these folders today, covering things from pilot licenses to safe airports. Point 12. Which ICAO annex gives you the exact rules for getting your personal pilot license? Annex 1 holds all the important rules that tell you how to get your license. It lists the medical tests and training hours that every new pilot must complete first. Point 13. What is the main focus of Annex 2 when you study for your aviation exams? Annex 2 is all about the rules of the air, like traffic laws for airplanes. It tells you who has the right of way when two planes are flying closely. 14. Who controls the airspace over the deep open ocean, far away from any land mass? No single country owns the ocean air, but ICAO assigns countries to watch over it. This keeps pilots safe over water, because someone is always listening to the radio calls. 15. What is the goal of the CORSIA program, which we added to our modern rules? CORSIA tries to reduce the carbon pollution that large airplanes make when they fly high. This program helps protect our green planet by making airlines pay for their extra pollution. 16. Why did the aviation laws change in 2026 to include specific rules about small drones? Drones became very popular everywhere, so we needed new rules to stop terrible air crashes. The updated laws keep drones far away from the big airports where passenger planes land. 17. What is the third freedom of the air, and how does it help commercial airlines? It lets an airline take paying passengers from its home country to a foreign country. This is the most basic rule for travel, letting you fly people out on vacations. 18. How does the fourth freedom of the air work together with the third freedom today? The fourth freedom lets the same airline bring those passengers back to their home country. Without this specific rule in place, planes would be stuck empty on the way back. 19. Why do we need international air laws, instead of letting every country make random rules? We need them so that pilots everywhere have one safe and simple system to follow. If every country had completely different rules, flying across borders would be very dangerous today. If you want to read the full course, please check the link in the description. Section 2. Welcome back to Section 2, and we will talk about airplane registration today. Every single airplane must be registered, so we know exactly who owns it. Just like your family car today, planes have special license plates painted on. You can look at the tail and see numbers that show the country. We call these special painted numbers the aircraft nationality and registration marks today. If a plane has an accident, these marks help us find the owner. The rules for these special marks are found in ICAO Annex number 7. I will teach you about Annex 7, so you can learn it easily. The letter N on a plane means it belongs to the United States. If you see a plane with C, that means it comes from Canada. A single airplane cannot be registered in two different countries at once today. You must cancel the old registration before you get a brand new one. This keeps the paperwork very clean and stops confusion for the busy airports. Norway will look at Annex 8, which talks about making planes safe. We call this airworthiness of aircraft, and it means the plane can fly. A plane must get a special certificate before it can carry paying passengers. Mechanics must check the engine often to make sure it runs very smoothly. If an inspector finds a broken part, the plane is grounded right away. The airline must fix the broken part before the plane takes off again. This rule protects you and me when we travel on long summer vacations. ICAO updates these safety rules often to handle new airplane designs and engines. Next, we need to discuss Annex 9, which makes travel much more simple. Annex 9 is all about facilitation and moving people quickly through large airports. When you land in a new country, you have to show your passport. We want customs and immigration lines to be short and fast for everyone. ICAO tells countries to use computers to check passports much faster and safer. This stops giant crowds from forming inside the very busy international airport terminals. It also helps send cargo boxes quickly, so fresh food does not spoil. Annex 10 covers the big radio towers and all the communication equipment used. Pilots need good radio talk, so they do not crash into things. We use special radio frequencies for flying, so regular stations do not interfere. Annex 11 is about air traffic services, which are the people watching radar. Air traffic controllers talk to pilots and keep airplanes far away from each other. These smart controllers work very hard to keep the entire sky organized today. They tell the pilot exactly when it is completely safe to land softly. Finally, we have Annex 12 today, which is for search and rescue teams. If a plane has a bad emergency, we must send helicopters to help. Countries agree to help any lost plane, no matter where it came from. I want you to remember these rules, because they save many human lives. Our safety depends on all countries following these shared ICAO agreements every day. Right now, I want you to focus and answer the 19 questions below. Read each specific question very carefully and learn from the simple explanation provided. Point 1. Why do we paint special numbers on the outside tail of an airplane? We paint numbers on the tail so everyone knows who owns the airplane. This helps the airport workers quickly see which country the large airplane is from. Point 2. Where do we find the exact rules for painting the numbers on airplanes? You can find all of these specific rules written inside ICAO Annex 7. This big folder tells airlines the exact size and color the paint should be. Point 3. What does the letter N mean when painted on the side of airplanes? The letter N simply means the airplane is registered in the United States. Every country has a unique letter code to make identifying airplanes super easy today. Point 4. Can a pilot register an airplane in 2 different foreign countries at once? No pilot can register one airplane in 2 different foreign countries at once. You must cancel your old registration forms before you get a brand new 1.5. What does airworthiness mean when we talk about large commercial passenger airplanes today? Airworthiness simply means the airplane is safe and ready to fly passengers now. The airplane must pass many strict tests before the pilots start the heavy engines. Point 6. Which ICAO annex holds the specific rules for keeping airplanes safe to fly? Annex 8 holds the important safety rules to keep the large airplanes flying. This folder makes sure the mechanics fix things before the plane takes off safely. Point 7. What happens if a government inspector finds a broken engine part on airplanes? The airplane is grounded immediately, and no passengers can fly on it today. The airline must replace the broken part before the airplane goes back to work. Point 8. What is the main goal of Annex 9 for people at busy airports? Annex 9 wants to move people fast through customs and airport security lines. It helps airports use modern computers to scan travel passports quickly and safely today. 9. Why is it important to move cargo boxes very quickly through the airport? We must move cargo quickly so fresh food and medicine do not spoil. Annex 9 tells the customs workers to clear these boxes without any long delays. Point 10. Which ICAO annex talks about radio towers and communication gear for the pilots? Annex 10 covers the big radio towers and all the special pilot headsets. Pilots need to use clear radios so they do not crash into tall mountains. Point 11. Why do airplanes use special radio frequencies instead of regular music radio stations? They use special frequencies so normal music stations do not block the pilots. If a pilot hears loud music, they might miss an important warning message today. Point 12. What do air traffic controllers actually do to keep the flying airplanes safe? Controllers watch the radar screens and tell the fast airplanes where to turn. They keep airplanes far apart so there are no terrible crashes in the sky. Point 13. Where can you find the rules for the busy air traffic control towers? You can find these tower rules clearly written down inside ICAO Annex 11. This folder helps the controllers speak clearly, so every single pilot understands them easily. Point 14. Which ICAO annex guides the brave teams who search for lost flying airplanes? Annex 12 is made for the teams who perform search and rescue missions. It tells countries how to work together to find missing airplanes in the ocean. Point 15. If an airplane crashes in the ocean, who is supposed to send help? All nearby countries agree to send help to find the sinking airplane quickly. The search teams do not care about borders when someone needs to be saved. Point 16. How does airplane registration work? Like driving a family car on the street. Both cars and airplanes have license plates to show exactly who owns them. If the airplane speeds or breaks rules, the police can find the real owner. Point 17. Why do airports use large computers to check your travel passport at customs? Computers check passports very fast, so you do not wait in long lines. This helps large crowds move much faster inside the busy airport terminal building today. Point 18. How often does ICAO update the safety rules found inside Annex number 8? ICAO updates the safety rules very often because airplane technology changes quite fast. When companies build brand new airplane engines, we need new rules to test them. Point 19. Why should you learn all these rules to become a certified pilot today? You must learn these important rules so you can keep your passengers safe. Knowing the rules helps you pass exams and get your pilot license very easily. If you want to read the full course, please check the link in the description. Section 3. Today we will talk about the rules for flight charts and how pilots find their way. Every pilot needs a good map so they do not get lost in the clouds. These special maps are called aeronautical charts, and they show the mountains and towers. ICAO Annex 4 tells us exactly how to make these maps easy to read. If every country made different maps, a pilot might get very confused on a trip. Instead, every map uses the same colors, so you always know where the tall trees are. We also need to talk about the units we use for measuring things in the air. Annex 5 says we should use the metric system, but many countries still use feet today. For example, we measure how high we are flying by using the unit called feet right now. We measure how fast the plane goes by using a unit we call knots today. This annex helps everyone speak the same language when they talk about distance and speed. Next, we must look at Annex 6, which is about operating the airplane itself. This folder tells the airline company how many fire extinguishers must be on the plane. It also says how much extra fuel a pilot must carry for a safe landing. If the weather is very bad, you need extra fuel to fly to another city. This rule ensures that no plane ever runs out of gas while in the air. Annex 6 also explains that every plane must have a flight data recorder on board. We often call this the black box, even though the box is actually bright orange. This box records everything the pilot says and how the engines are working today. If there is a crash, the orange box helps us learn what went wrong so we can fix it. Now let us talk about the personnel who work inside the large airport buildings. Annex 13 is very important because it covers the investigation of all aircraft accidents. If a plane has a bad crash, we do not look for people to blame. Instead, we look for the main cause so we can stop it from happening again. This is a very special rule in air law that keeps the whole industry very safe. We want people to tell the truth so we can learn from every single mistake. Finally, let us discuss Annex 14, which is all about the design of airports. It tells us how long a runway should be for a large jumbo jet. It also says what kind of lights we must put on the ground for night. You will see bright green lights at the very start of the landing runway. You will see bright red lights at the very end of the landing runway. These colors help the pilot land safely, even when it is very dark or rainy. Right now, I want you to read these 19 questions, so you can master these important topics. Point 1. What is the main purpose of ICAO Annex 4, for pilots who are flying? Annex 4 tells countries exactly how to make easy maps for the pilots. This ensures that every map looks the same, so pilots do not get lost. Point 2. Why do we use the same colors on every aviation map around the whole world? We use the same colors, so pilots always know where the tall mountains are. If colors changed in every country, a pilot might crash into a tall hill. Point 3. Which ICAO annex tells us which units we should use for distance and speed? Annex 5 is the folder that explains all the units for measuring things. It helps everyone use the same numbers, so there are no mistakes in communication. Point 4. What unit do pilots usually use today to measure how high they are flying? Most pilots use the unit called feet to measure their height in the sky. Even though ICAO likes the metric system, feet is still the most common unit. Point 5. Why must a pilot carry extra fuel, according to the rules in Annex 6? Pilots carry extra fuel so they can fly to another city if needed. If the home airport is closed by fog, the extra gas saves the plane. Point 6. What is the real color of the black box that records all the flight data? The real color of the black box is actually a very bright neon orange. We paint it bright orange so search teams can find it in the dirt. Point 7. Why is the black box so important for the safety of future airplane flights? It records everything that happened, so we can learn how to fix mistakes. By looking at the data, we make sure the same crash never happens again. 8. What is the main goal of an accident investigation, according to Annex 13? The main goal is to find the cause, so we can prevent future accidents. We do not try to find people to punish, we only want to learn. Point 9. Why should pilots tell the whole truth after they have a small flying mistake? They should tell the truth so the whole industry can learn and stay safe. If they hide mistakes, then other pilots might make the same dangerous error. Point 10. Which ICAO annex tells engineers how to build a safe and long runway? Annex 14 holds all the rules for building and designing the big airports. It makes sure the ground is strong enough to hold a very heavy plane. Point 11. What color are the lights at the very beginning of an airport runway? The lights at the start of a runway are always a bright green color. Green means go, so it shows the pilot where they can start landing. Point 12. What color are the lights at the very end of an airport runway? The lights at the end of the runway are always a bright red color. Red means stop, so it warns the pilot that the ground is ending. Point 13. Why do we need bright lights on the runway during a clear sunny day? We use them when the rain is heavy or when the clouds are low. The lights help the pilot see the ground when the weather is very bad. Point 14. What does Annex 6 say about fire extinguishers inside a passenger airplane cabin? Annex 6 says every plane must have a certain number of fire extinguishers. This keeps the passengers safe if a small fire starts in the kitchen. Point 15. How do units of measurement like knots help pilots who fly across borders? It helps them talk to controllers without having to do hard math problems. When everyone uses knots, there is no confusion about how fast the plane moves. Point 16. Why is Annex 4 helpful for a pilot flying from India to London? The maps in both countries look the same, so the pilot feels comfortable. Standard maps make international flying much easier for every single pilot today. Point 17. What happens if an airport runway is too short for a large passenger plane? The large plane cannot land there because it might run off the end. Annex 14 makes sure that airports tell pilots exactly how long runways are. Point 18. Why does ICAO want every country to follow the rules in Annex 13? They want every accident to be studied using the same high safety standards. This helps the entire world share information about how to keep planes safe. Point 19. Why is the year 2026 important for the new rules in the ICAO annexes? In 2026, many rules were updated to include new technology and better safety. Keeping the rules fresh ensures that we are ready for the future of flying. If you want to read the full course, please check the link in the description. Section 4. Now we will talk about the environment and how planes affect our beautiful planet today. ICAO Annex 16 focuses on noise and the smoke that comes from airplane engines. People living near big airports do not like the loud sounds of jet engines. This rule tells the engine makers to build much quieter machines for our future. It also sets strict limits on pollution so we can keep our blue sky clean. If a plane is too loud, it might not be allowed to land. This pushes the airlines to buy new and more quiet airplanes for their long trips. Next, we should discuss Annex 17 today, which is about security and protecting people. We call this safeguarding civil aviation against acts of unlawful interference or bad people. This folder tells the airport workers to check all bags for dangerous items. They use big X-ray machines to look inside your suitcase before you board. They also check your body to make sure you are not carrying weapons. These rules were made very strong, so that everyone feels safe while flying high. Annex 17 also says that cockpit doors must be locked and very strong today. This stops anyone from entering the front and bothering the pilots while they work. Now let us look at Annex 18, which is for carrying dangerous goods safely. Some things like strong acid orbiters can be very dangerous on a plane. If a battery catches fire, it is very hard to put out. Annex 18 tells us how to pack and label these dangerous items very clearly. They must be put in strong boxes, and the pilot must know they are there. This ensures that the crew is ready if something starts to leak or smell bad. If an item is too dangerous, the rules say it cannot fly at all. This protects the airplane and the passengers from a sudden fire or a loud explosion. Finally, we must talk about Annex 19, which is about safety management systems. We call this SMS for short, and it is a very big deal today. SMS is a way for companies to look at their own risks and fix them. Instead of waiting for a crash, the company looks for small problems first. For example, if a pilot is very tired, the SMS will help fix the schedule. It encourages a culture where everyone talks about safety without being afraid of trouble. In the year 2026, these SMS rules are used by airports, airlines, and even the mechanics. This proactive way of thinking has made flying the safest way to travel. I want you to study these rules so you can manage a safe team one day. Now, let us look at the questions to see what you have learned about safety. Point 1. What is the main goal of ICAO Annex 16 regarding the engines of airplanes? The main goal is to make engines much quieter and cleaner for our planet. It sets limits on noise and pollution, so people near airports stay happy. Point 2. Why might a very loud airplane be banned from landing at a specific airport? It might be banned because it makes too much noise for the local people. Airlines must follow noise rules, or they have to pay big money today. Point 3. What does ICAO Annex 17 try to prevent from happening at the busy airport? It tries to prevent bad people from hurting passengers or stealing the big airplanes. This folder holds all the security rules for checking bags and airport workers. Point 4. Why do airport security workers use big X-ray machines on every single suitcase? They use X-ray machines to find dangerous items hidden inside the travel bags. This makes sure that no bombs or guns ever get onto a passenger plane. Point 5. What is special about the cockpit door of a modern passenger airplane today? The cockpit door is made very strong, and it stays locked during the flight. This protects the pilots from bad people, so they can focus on flying. Point 6. Which ICAO annex tells us how to safely carry dangerous goods like strong acid? Annex 18 holds all the rules for packing and shipping the dangerous goods. It keeps the airplane safe from fires and dangerous leaks during the long trip. Point 7. Why must a pilot be told if there are dangerous batteries in the cargo? The pilot needs to be ready in case the batteries catch a sudden fire. Knowing what is on the plane helps the crew handle an emergency quickly. Point 8. What happens if a specific item is considered too dangerous for a commercial flight? The item is not allowed to fly, and it must be moved by truck. Safety is more important than speed, so dangerous things stay on the ground. Point 9. What does the acronym SMS stand for in the world of modern aviation law? SMS stands for Safety Management System, which helps companies find and fix risks. It is a smart way to manage safety before a real accident ever happens. Point 10. Which ICAO annex explains how to set up a good safety management system? Annex 19 is the newest folder, and it explains everything about the SMS. It is used by airlines and airports to make sure everyone follows safety. Point 11. How does the SMS help a pilot who feels too tired to fly safely today? The SM helps the company fix the busy schedules so pilots can get rest. A tired pilot is a risk, so the system works to stop that problem. Point 12. Why is a proactive safety culture better than just waiting for an accident to happen? It is better because we find problems and fix them before anyone gets hurt. This way of thinking saves many lives and keeps the whole industry safe. Point 13. In the year 2026, who is required to use a safety management system for work? Almost everyone in aviation, like airlines and big mechanics, must use an SMS. It is now a standard rule to make sure every part of flying is safe. Point 14. Why is Annex 17 so important for the trust of the flying public today? It makes people feel safe to fly because they know the security is strong. If people were scared of bad people, they would stop buying flight tickets. Point 15. What kind of pollution does Annex 16 try to reduce in our high atmosphere? It tries to reduce the carbon smoke that comes out of the jet engines. This helps stop the planet from getting too warm and protects our clean air. 16. How does labeling a box, dangerous goods, help the people who load the plane? It tells the workers to be careful, and not to drop the heavy box. If a dangerous box breaks, it could hurt the workers or the airplane. 17. Why did the ICAO create a separate annex, just for the safety management system? They created Annex 19 because safety is the most important part of aviation. It brings all the safety ideas together into one simple and clear folder. 18. What is the job of the crew if a dangerous chemical starts to leak today? The crew must follow their training to stop the leak and land quickly. Annex 18 gives them the knowledge to handle these scary situations safely. 19. Why should an airline invest money into buying a brand new and quiet plane? They buy quiet planes so they can fly into airports with strict noise rules. It is a smart business choice that also helps the people living nearby. If you want to read the full course, please check the link in the description. Section 5. Today we will talk about the people who help pilots and the laws that protect the sky. First, we must look at the rules for air traffic controllers and weather experts. These people are called ground personnel, and they also need a special license to work. ICAO Annex 1 says that these workers must pass hard tests just like the pilots. This ensures that the person talking on the radio knows exactly how to handle a big emergency. They must stay healthy and have good hearing, so they never miss a pilot's message. Next, let us discuss the Tokyo Convention, which was made in the year 1963. This law tells the pilot what to do if a passenger starts acting very bad. We call this having an unruly passenger who might try to hurt other people. The Tokyo Convention gives the pilot power to restrain that person for the safety of everyone. It also says that the country where the plane lands must take the bad person into custody. This stops people from being violent while they are high up in the air today. Another big law is the Hague Convention, which was signed in the year 1970. This law is very strict about hijacking, which is when someone steals a whole plane. It says that hijacking is a very serious crime, and every country must punish the hijackers. No country should give a safe place to a person who tries to steal an airplane. This keeps the sky safe from terrorists and other people with very bad intentions today. We also have the Montreal Convention, which talks about money and your lost travel bags. If an airline loses your suitcase, or if you get hurt during the flight today, the Montreal Convention says the airline must pay you a certain amount of money. In the year 2026, these money limits are updated so that passengers are treated very fairly. This law makes it easy to get paid without having to go to a long court trial. It protects your rights as a traveler, no matter which airline you choose to fly. Finally, let us talk about the International Air Services Transit Agreement today. This agreement is what gives airlines the right to fly over other countries safely. It is the reason you can fly from one side of the world to another. Without these agreements, every country would be a wall, and we could never travel very far. Right now, I want you to read these 19 questions and learn about these important sky laws. 1. Do air traffic controllers need a license, just like the pilots who fly the planes? Yes, air traffic controllers must have a license to show they are trained and ready. They must pass tests on rules and safety before they can talk to the pilots. Point 2. Which ICAO annex tells us the rules for licensing the ground workers and controllers? Annex 1 is the folder that holds all the rules for every aviation license. It covers pilots, mechanics, and the people who work in the control towers. Point 3. Why must a ground controller have good hearing, according to the licensing rules today? They need good hearing so they can understand the pilot during a loud emergency. If they miss a single word, it could lead to a very dangerous mistake. Point 4. What power does the Tokyo Convention give to a pilot during a long flight? It gives the pilot the legal power to restrain a passenger who is being violent. The pilot is the boss of the plane and must keep everyone safe. Point 5. What happens to an unruly passenger when the airplane finally lands in another country? The local police must take the person and keep them in custody for their crimes. This ensures that bad behavior has consequences, no matter where the plane lands. 6. What is the main focus of the Hague Convention, signed in the year 1970 today? The main focus of the Hague Convention is to stop people from hijacking airplanes. It makes stealing a plane a world crime that is punished very strictly everywhere. Point 7. Can a hijacker find a safe country to hide in after they steal a plane? No, every country that signed the law must either punish or extradite the hijacker. This stops hijackers from escaping justice by flying to a different foreign country. Point 8. Which law helps you get money if the airline loses your favorite travel suitcase? The Montreal Convention is the law that makes airlines pay for lost travel bags. It sets clear rules for compensation, so you do not have to worry. Point 9. Why did the Montreal Convention update its rules in the recent year of 2026? It updated the rules to make the money payments more fair for modern travelers. As things get more expensive, the law must change to help the people. Point 10. What does the International Air Services Transit Agreement allow an airline to do? It allows an airline to fly across the sky of another country without stopping. This makes international travel possible by opening up the skies for everyone. Point 11. Why is it important for all countries to follow the same sky laws today? It is important so that pilots always know what the rules are in every country. A single system of law makes flying much safer and more organized for everyone. Point 12. What is an unruly passenger, and why are they a risk to the flight? An unruly passenger is someone who starts fights or breaks rules on the plane. They distract the crew and can cause a dangerous situation inside the cabin. Point 13. How does the Montreal Convention protect you if you get hurt during a flight? It says the airline is responsible, and they must pay for your medical bills. This protects passengers from having to pay for accidents that were not their fault. Point 14. Why do we call the pilot the in-command person during a serious emergency? We call them that because they have the final authority to make safety choices. In the air, the pilot's word is law to ensure the plane lands safely. Point 15. What is extradition, and how does it apply to people who commit air crimes? Extradition is when one country sends a criminal back to the country of the crime. It ensures that people are judged by the laws they actually broke. Point 16. Why do we need the Tokyo Convention if we already have regular ground laws? We need it because a plane is often over the ocean where no country rules. It gives the pilot authority, even when they are not over any land. Point 17. How does the Hague Convention prevent people from trying to steal airplanes today? It prevents it by making sure that every single hijacker goes to a hard prison. When people know they will be caught, they are less likely to try. 18. What should you do if you notice a passenger acting very strange and violent? You should tell the flight crew so they can inform the pilot right away. Early warning helps the crew handle the person before the situation gets worse. 19. Why is the year 2026 a good time to become a certified aviation professional? It is a good time because our laws and technology are better than ever before. With strong rules and new planes, flying is becoming even safer for everyone. If you want to read the full course, please check the link in the description. Course title: Air Law and International Agreements, updated for 2026. Welcome to the final part of our course, where we talk about the future of flight. This section covers how we manage the air today, and the brand new rules for 2026. These questions come with full explanations, which will help you get your certification on the first try. Please leave suggestions in the comment section below, so we can improve our learning together. Section 6: We are now looking at the modern sky, and how we handle very busy air traffic. As more people fly every year, the sky gets crowded with many large and small planes. We use something called air traffic management, which we simply call ATM in our daily work. ATM is like a giant invisible grid that keeps every plane in its own safe lane. In the year 2026, we use smart satellites to track planes, instead of only using old ground radar. This allows planes to fly closer together, while still staying perfectly safe during the whole trip. Next, we must talk about the rules for the brand new electric vertical takeoff planes. We call these eVTOL planes for short, and they act like quiet flying taxis today. ICAO has made special rules for these, so they do not crash into regular slow helicopters. They must follow specific paths through the city to keep the noise away from schools and homes. We also have new laws for space flight, as more rockets go into the high orbit. Rockets must share the sky with airplanes, so we need careful timing for every single launch. If a rocket is going up, the airplanes must fly around the launch zone safely. This protects the passengers from falling debris, and keeps the space missions on schedule today. We also need to discuss the environment again, because it is a very big topic for 2026. The ICAO has a goal called net zero, which means no extra carbon from flying. Airlines are now using sustainable aviation fuel, which is made from plants and recycled cooking oil. This special fuel works in regular engines, but it is much better for our clean air. There are also new rules for digital pilot licenses, which you can carry on your mobile phone. You do not need a paper license anymore, because the airport can scan your phone screen. This makes it much harder to lose, and easier for the government to update your records. We are also seeing more artificial intelligence, helping the air traffic controllers with their hard work. The AI can predict where a storm is moving, and suggest a better path for the airplane. However, a human must always make the final choice, to ensure that safety is never ever put at risk. You are entering the world of aviation, at a very exciting and fast-moving time today. Learning these rules will make you a leader in the future of international flight and travel. Now, let us finish our course by answering the last 19 questions about the future. 1. What does the acronym ATM stand for in the world of modern air traffic? ATM stands for Air Traffic Management, which keeps all the flying planes organized. It is the system that manages the sky, so planes do not hit each other. 2. Why do we use satellites to track planes, instead of only using the old ground radar? Satellites can see planes everywhere on Earth, even over the very deep and wide oceans. This makes flying much safer, because we never lose track of where a plane is. 3. What are eVTOL planes, and why do they need special new ICAO flying rules? They are electric flying taxis, and they need rules to stay away from regular planes. Since they fly differently than big jets, they need their own paths through the city. 4. Why must airplanes stay far away from a rocket launch site during a space mission? They stay away to avoid falling debris, and to give the rocket plenty of space. Safety zones are created in the air whenever a big rocket goes into outer space. 5. What is the main goal of the Net Zero program, created by the ICAO team? The main goal is to stop airplanes from adding any extra carbon into our clean air. It encourages airlines to use better fuel and build engines that do not smoke much. 6. What is sustainable aviation fuel made from, and why is it good for our planet? It is made from plants and recycled oil, which produces much less pollution than gas. It helps keep the sky clean, while still letting us fly to faraway places. 7. How does a digital pilot license work when you are at a busy international airport? You show a special code on your phone, and the airport worker scans it quickly. It is safer than paper, and the government can update your flight hours instantly today. 8. Can artificial intelligence make the final decision about where a passenger airplane should fly? No, a human pilot or controller must always make the final choice for safety. While computers are very smart, humans are better at handling strange and rare emergencies. 9. Why are the rules for drones and planes becoming more strict in the year 2026? There are many more drones today, so we must work harder to avoid crashes. Keeping small drones away from big airports protects the lives of thousands of people. 10. What is a vertiport, and why are they being built in big modern cities? A vertiport is a small airport where the new electric flying taxis land and take off. They are built on top of buildings, so people can travel across cities very fast. 11. Why do pilots need to study about the high layers of the atmosphere for space flight? They need to know where the air ends, so they can manage the rocket transition. As we go higher, the air gets very thin and the rules change quickly. 12. How does the ICAO help poor countries follow the new high-tech rules for 2026? They provide training and money to help every country buy the latest safety gear. If one country is not safe, then the whole world of flying is at risk. 13. What is the most important rule when using a new type of airplane fuel today? The most important rule is that the fuel must be safe for the airplane engine. We never trade safety for the environment, so the fuel must be tested many times. 14. Why is it important to have a universal system for digital flight records and logs? It is important so that any country can check your records without any language problems. One global system makes it easy to work as a pilot in any foreign country. 15. How do noise rules for flying taxis help the people who live in the city? The rules keep the flying taxis quiet, so people can sleep without any loud sounds. Modern electric engines are much quieter than the old and loud gas-powered helicopters. 16. What should a pilot do if the satellite tracking system stops working during a flight? The pilot must follow the emergency rules and talk to the controllers on the radio. There is always a backup plan to make sure the plane lands safely no matter what. 17. Why is the ICAO assembly important for deciding the future of our global aviation laws? The assembly lets every country vote on the rules that will affect everyone on Earth. This ensures that the laws are fair for both big and small countries in aviation. 18. How does learning about 2026 rules help you get a better job in the industry? It shows that you are modern and you understand the latest technology in the sky. Companies want to hire pilots who are ready for the future of clean flying. 19. What is the biggest lesson from the whole Air Law and International Agreements course? The biggest lesson is that safety is the foundation for everything we do in aviation. All the rules and agreements exist so that everyone can fly and return home safely. If you want to get the full course, please check the link in the description.